So thank you for coming by. Could you tell us your name, your degree, and your study?
Oh, my study? Yeah. My name is Shen, and my Chinese name is Yinfeng Shen. I'm in my second year of business school, majoring in marketing and finance.
Okay, what's your campaign color and slogan?
Oh, I'm in royal blue, and my slogan is beneficial.
So we're gonna ask you some icebreaker questions.
Yeah.
What is your favorite USU production?
What do you mean by production? Is like words used for programs or something like that?
No, like a USU show, the USU review, or a theatre show. Or
I think like the career review, because I never been to a career review, but I seen the current poster, and I have some friends actually involved in the career review. I think it's pretty good, so probably the career review.
Okay. Are you a member of political party?
I used to be in advanced, but this time I'm running for independent.
Okay. Can you describe your political philosophy?
What do you mean by philosophy? I think like I'm kind of like open to all because like I'm an international student here, so I think I'm kind of like standing in the middle. Like I'm open to all political parties. Yeah.
Can you give us like a few examples of your like political policies or position you would support generally?
Because I'm not like actually that clear about like the things like that, so I don't think I can give a very exact answer for like my political standing, but I'm actually like anything is sensible. I think like we can support that, so that's what I'm saying for. Yeah, and I think like in my perspective, I want to strive for more benefits for international students on campus.
Okay. Do you mind talking about your campaign manager?
Yeah.
Like they belong to any political faction?
Oh yeah, I know Jessie because we live in the same student accommodation, and she actually lives one floor down me. So I'm on level 10 and she's on level 9. That's why we know each other, and we have been like engaged in lots of activities in our accommodation before. And I actually met her in my first semester in Queen Mary building, and we were cooking together in the kitchen because you guys don't know we have a very large common kitchen with like you can hold 100 people cooking together.
Sure.
So it's like a cooking competition every single day. That's how we met each other. And like she went on exchange last semester with one of my friends as well. That's why we get to know more about each other because we have mutual friends. Yeah. And I think that's it. And we're really close friends because we always hang out in the building. Yeah.
Cool. So you claim yourself as independent.
Yeah.
Despite your previous political involvement in advance,
Yeah.
why are you decide to run as independent in this election?
Because I don't think like USUs actually have to do a lot with student politics. I think we have to actually support more for like the benefits for students, like benefits. Sorry, I'm advertising myself. So that's why I think in this time I want to go for independent, and because there are some issues before, like some I don't there are like two Chinese student party Chinese student party. They actually have some conflicts. So I actually this time I just want to go by myself. I want to go stand by myself, and I don't want there's going to be so many dramas going on.
Yeah. So do you believe running as independent will increase your chance of winning?
Actually, I'm not actually sure about that, but like I just want to be myself because USU is more about like students, not about politics. That's what my understanding.
Sure. So just taking you back as well to last year, you campaigned for Alex Yang's presidential election, which failed. You were an advanced campaigner. You wore an orange shirt. You were with Advance.
Yeah.
In terms of student politics, have you participated in any other elections as a student, or was last year the other?
Yeah, last year was my actually first one. I get to know, oh yeah, that's student politics. Yeah, so it's a pretty good experience to get involved, and I think it's a pretty experience to go with Alice together as well, because Alice used to live in the same building as me as well, so we're really close friends. We go to the Bondi to Kuju where a lot of times.
Sure, okay.
So yeah, that's why I actually just, in the terms I actually helping my friend to do that, like, as like a buddy, and I get to know, what's the actual process of all the election things. It actually gave me a lot of knowledge of this.
Your campaign manager, Jessie, has she previously been involved?
No, she
with
actually
Advance?
not. Yeah, she hasn't been any into like these kind of student elections before.
Okay. In the past, candidates for the USU Board have claimed to be independent, but had political affiliations behind them. They've had political supporters. There are candidates like that running this year. Do you think that because you're claiming to be an independent, but in the past you've been a campaigner for Advance, do you think voters see that and think you're lying to them about your political affiliations? Do you think they lose trust in your claim to independence?
I think pretty much people will trust me. I'm independent, but I'm really happy if those people who support Advance still supporting me as well. So that's a really good point if they're still going to support me. And I think the reason why I'm going for independent, because I do have both people from the community I belong to and the community for more domestic friends here. So that's why I think it's more fit. I want to strive for the benefits both for international students and domestic students. Yes.
Last year you chose to campaign for Advance.
Yeah.
Is that because you're friends with Alex, or because you liked Advance's policies?
I like some of their policies, but mainly in part because Alex is really my good friend. That's why I go for Shen or him. Yeah.
Okay. Can you give me a general reason why you inspired? What inspired you to run to be on the board of a multi-million-dollar student organization?
You mean why involved in USU elections?
Yeah.
Because very priority and very simple. I want to be in the team to help people because when I first came to USU, when I first enrolled, I actually get a lot of help from USU. I really embrace the diversity and we provide a lot of inclusive programs to provide for students as what we do in our student accommodations because we get to know people from all over the world. That's my very first aim I just want to be in the team to help. And also I think I can be a better board director because I was involved in lots of university activities and a lot of roles on campus, so which gave me a much closer experience of multiple perspective of people what they're actually looking for. So I think I can do better because I know both what universities think and what students think. I change from a participant to an organizer, so that's why I think I can do better.
So how long have you been interested in running for this position? When did you decide that you wanted to be a board director?
The reason why I know board director because last year Mike was asked me to help him can you just vote for me. That's how I first get to know there's a position called board director, and then I start to think about in the process of during this year, but I was motivated by a lot of my friends. My friends say, why not have a try? So that's why I go for it this time.
Yeah, so last year you mentioned Magic Mike Mao. Yeah. For him. Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I actually vote for him. And Mike was the mentor when I first come to UC. He actually led me for a campus, so that's why I know him. And I know he's really acting a lot of university societies and clubs.
So did you believe in Mike's policies, or did you vote for him because he was your friend?
Oh, I actually believe some of Mike's policy. He actually promotes the humans of UC. I think it's now under action of the pub. So and also it's part of my policy as well because I want to bring it be much better. And of course, as a photographer myself, I really like the book. The idea comes from Humans of New York, and we do have Humans of Newtown here as well. So that's always the thing I want to put forward.
We'll talk about some of your policies. If you had to identify, if you tell me how long have you held Access membership?
Oh, I actually purchased the 3 years one at the very beginning. So I'm actually very confused how the discount going to work, but I'm actually happy to hold the 15% off at the moment.
And how, I guess if you had to identify the most important program run by the union currently for all students and not just yourself, what program would that be?
I really like the program of language exchange because I'm actually met a lot of friends during their programs, and some of my friends they actually get a lot of benefits from the program. They know some people speak another language, and it's you get the people day-to-day life. They can teach you more closely, and some of my friends they're actually learning some foreign language in their units, so it actually helps a lot and make you meet a lot of friends all over the world.
Sure.
And I think one of the aspects in the event because they have a sticker with teach me anything. So and they can actually prepare all the languages. You can find all language in their sheets. I think there's a very inclusive program to everyone.
Sure. A lot of candidates running in this year's election bring very much stacked resumes of club and society experience. One candidate has held executive positions on more than 7 societies.
Oh, that's impressive.
Many of them say that experience is the most important thing when it comes to leading this organization, because most of the USU's members are clubs and society executives and club members. What clubs and societies have you participated in?
I was in the Chinese Student Association and was a public relations director of that. So I was doing a lot of we have a basketball competition with other university, even from the Wollongong or UNSW. It's one of the biggest basketball organizations in Australia, and we're the largest Chinese Student Association in Australia as well. So I think that's a really good experience. And also I'm studying marketing. So as a public relations director, I have to negotiate with all the sponsors. It's a really good experience for my career development as well.
Sure. Obviously, in the lead up to campaigning beginning, a lot of candidates will try to talk to their friends to tell them that they're running. Have you sought support from any clubs and societies on campus or any student associations in order to get their support for the upcoming election?
I think I think my biggest base should be my building, because most of my friends actually from my student accommodation, but I don't think it's also part of the rules. I don't think any society can actually support a single person to be a board director.
So the spending cap this year is $700. Do you intend to use the $700 entirely? Do you intend to exhaust the spending cap?
I'm trying to do a good structure, because my campaign manager Jessie, she's actually studied accounting, so she has most control of my spending cap, and we're not planning to spend all of it. Maybe around 600 we're looking for.
Okay. How have you gone about raising the money for your campaign? How are you going to raise the $600? Have you already received an election grant from the USU?
Oh, I haven't received any money from it, but I think they're going to reduce money from the cap for your t-shirt, because we all the t-shirts with USU.
Okay, but how are you raising the $600? Where is the $600 for your campaign? Who is paying for the campaign? Are you paying the $600? Are you buying
is that from USU? I think USU sponsored for 500, and if you want to spend another 200, you can spend it on it.
So you've mentioned that you're going to spend $600.
Yeah.
Who is going to pay for the extra $100?
Oh, I think I'm going to pay for it.
Okay, you're self-funded.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be using A-frames, which are the wooden frames, or using core flutes, which are plastic?
Oh, I'm going to use the wooden one.
Wooden ones? Do you know if these wooden frames that you're going to be using are from a previous campaign?
I actually got them from Bunnies, and they're not expensive as what I expected before. And the guy at the Bunnies is pretty nice, and he cut all the A-frame for me, because they're really pretty big size, and cut into the size what size I want. Into just cost me $2 to that. So it's a pretty nice experience.
Great. There's a lot of candidates running this year. What makes you different from the 9 other candidates running?
Yeah, just as what I mentioned before, as I have involved in lots of university activities before, and I have some roles in university as well. So I think I have a much closer experience to what students actually want, and I understand what the uni wants and what student wants, and what I actually have the perspective of an organizer and a participant. And also, because I receive a lot of new student newcoming students as in my program, so I know what people will feel lost at the very first they come to university, and what they're looking for their social life and academic life in the following period of their university life.
Sure.
So among all those candidates, what other candidates do you closely identify or share view with?
Oh, I'm really good friends with Tina, because we know each other since a long time ago in the USU volunteer team program, and Tina is always feeding me. Every time I see Tina, she'll bring me a bubble tea or something. So we're really, really good friends.
Are you share a view with her? Are you agree with her political policies?
Oh, we haven't talked to each other very recently, but I think probably. I'm not sure.
Okay. Would you preference yourself first and other candidates second or third, fourth when you vote?
Pardon?
Would you preference yourself first And
Yeah.
maybe Tina, like you preference her second when you vote.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would prefer myself first. Yeah, and like, but if Tina willing to, I'm actually willing to have a deal with Tina. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this stage, are you in talks for any preference deal, like with other candidates?
Oh, haven't yet.
What other candidates do you least identify with?
I don't have a least identify with. I'm actually open to everyone. Like everyone, I feel happy to talk to everyone. So I don't have a least identify with.
Okay. So looking at the Incubate Union Board, what do you think have been its biggest shortcomings?
Pardon?
Like,
The incubate.
Yeah.
For one of the biggest shortcomings for incubate.
Yeah.
No, the current union.
Current Union Board.
The current union board for the shortcoming for that, because I know like the current board have done a lot of things, but one of for the like the daily student, they don't know what you're actually doing, and I don't think we have a time we can meet the board and talk to them. So like I was thinking if we can just have a session like students can actually perform more ideas, like tell to the board, like get them know what's happening on campus and get students understand what they're doing as their role, that would be so much better. I would do like just raise an example because a lot of people put forward the idea of shared economy, a shared campus last year, but we didn't see a lot of changes actually during the year process. So like a lot of people were asking, yeah, that's the idea put forward, but you don't keep your promise. But actually, I think some of them actually doing something for the students, but students didn't know. That's why they have a misunderstanding between each other. That's one of the perspective I think we can put forward more.
Looking for the future, what do you envision as the major challenges for the USU board over the next 2 years?
I think like it's for the our like finance situations, because I know USU lost $1 million last year. So how are we going to improve our finance system? And like I know USU is actually thinking about some like to cut off some funding in certain departments. So yeah, I think that's our biggest challenge. And at the same time, how we can keep the university life at the same quality or even better than before. And also how we're going to fund all the society and the clubs.
So just talking about the shortcomings of the current union board, what do you think their achievements, the greatest achievements they have?
The greatest achievements, I think recently and also for as an international student, I really like the idea of the WeChat Pay and Alipay. It makes me really convenient because I can just scan the QR code and pay for it on the university stores. And I really like the idea of USU market. And I think like I put forward the idea like we can actually open the market to students. I think, but they're doing already in May, like the last USU market this month. So I think really good idea. So we can trying to get students involved as part of our activities. Yeah.
So which board director, current or former, do you most admire?
I think probably Liliana, because I think like it's really hard to be a president because you have so many things going on, and like you have to actually make decisions. You have to talk to a lot of parties together. So how you can balance all these things together, I think is really a big challenge for her. So probably for that. And I know she actually came for like an independent as well. So how like an independent students can go for that role, that's really I'm admired for.
You've mentioned you want to prioritize students over politics. What do you think student interests are? How would you define them? And how do you think they've changed over the last 20, 30 years for the union?
Last 20, can we do one more questions?
Okay, so the first question was, you mentioned you want to prioritize student interests.
Yes.
What are student interests? How do you define them?
I think that for most of students, like they want to get something from the union. Like I think one of the aspects may be the benefits. So they want to like gain some benefits from union. I think for most events they want to get some free stuff, right? Everyone wants some free stuff like free meal or like free chance to meet people. And another one is experience. So it's also a key theme of my policy, experience, because they want to gain a different experience as before. Like they want to know different cultures, get into different events, like just broaden their horizons. I think that's something they're looking for. Next one I think is maybe some like relationships or like some friends Because you come to university, you want to know different people, and you want to know someone you can support each other during the whole degree, and you can be friends for the lifetime.
Okay. The other question was, how do you think student interests have changed over the last 20 years? And looking towards the future, how do you think they will change in the next few years?
Yeah, because I know nowadays we have around like 70,000 people on campus. It's actually like a small society, like a small city actually. So back to like 20 or 30 years before, I don't think we have a lot of students like that. So like we have a larger big population, and how we can get people involved and how we can suit for all the needs from different perspectives, I think that's one of our biggest challenge. And also for another challenge, we have more international students coming, like I think compared to before. So how we can like help them in this transition to study here, so give them a better like university experience, and it's also one of our biggest challenge. And how, I think also how we can balance the relationship between both international students and domestic students together, how we can like involve them together is also a big challenge.
Sure. You say that you want to prioritize students over politics, but in the past and currently you've been involved in student politics. You've been involved in the SRC, you voted in an election, and you currently sit on the SRC Council as an office bearer, as student housing officer. In all of those roles, you've participated in the political process. Are your skills not more suited for the SRC? And why join the USU if you believe that if you've got so much political experience, you could stay in the SRC?
For SRC, I think like, cause I'm standing for the housing officer, it's also part of my role in my accommodation, cause I'm the resident assistant in my accommodation. And for housing officer, we actually want to hold a forum with the university staff. So that's why we actually want to build a connection between the students and the university. And I think I can be a better bridge between that. That's why also one of the reasons I go for SRC. So there are some issues happening in the student accommodation nowadays. So the university actually want to hear the voice of the student accommodation, like build a dual communication between the two parties. So that's also part of my policies. I want to build the same thing for USU as well.
Betty, most of your policies are service-driven. They're looking at giving students a service or a good or something that they can tangibly hold on to. But the USU is not simply a service provider. It's often made political decisions in the past. And even about small things like what material the straws are made of, going from plastic to paper straws at all USU outlets. That isn't a service decision. That was a political decision made based off environmental factors. So don't you think there is still space for politics and political decisions and political thinking to be had within the union? Why do you think it should just prioritize students without considering politics?
I think definitely we still have space for politicization as well, but I think the politicization also relate to some of the benefits of students as well. So, and even like we have it also relates to some environmental issues or like maybe some social issues as well, culture issues as well. So that's why we still have space for the political perspectives. But mostly, I think we should prioritize the student benefits. That's what I think.
Sure. The USU obviously takes a lot more money from students than the SRC does. The USU made more than triple the SRC student services and amenities fee allocation last year. Given that, don't you think there is that the USU can work with the SRC in political initiatives, that the USU should consider more actively political decisions rather than simply always thinking about what free things to give to students, as you mentioned, or what party to throw next week?
You mean like do you think SRC and USU can work together for some certain issues?
Do you think they can?
Yeah, I think they can work on some certain issues. I think like the main objective for SRC and USU, they're trying to help students. That's what I think. That's what also I want to put forward the new handbook and the new starter pack like to the all fellow students. Like we can actually gather all the useful information together in one small book. Because like every time you went to Welcome Week, you'll get like piles of flyers every time. And SRC actually have a lot of useful services for students, like the legal services, like academic support, and like but you also have a lot of like advice for how to live on campus, how to live a better life, how to enjoy your life on campus. So if we can bring these two together, I think it would be so much better.
if you think that both of them, both the SRC and the USU, are built to help students, why are they separate entities? What makes the SRC and the USU different?
I think for SRC it's more like how you support students for certain services, and like, it's more like academy related, not like how your social life related. But USU is more like how your social life, how you make friends. That's why I think why they separate.
Okay. Now we might move on to discuss some like transparency questions. The SRC executive has gone in camera for several decisions this year, which has attracted controversy and critique. Like the SRC, USU meeting often move in camera. When do you think it is appropriate for the board to make a decision in camera?
So, do you think the camera is appropriate in a board meeting? Is that the question about?
So when the USU holds a public meeting that all students can attend, the USU can vote to move that meeting in private. And so all students have to leave, cameras turned off, student media has to leave. So that's called in camera, which is, but it's not actually in camera, it's actually out of camera. It's called in camera. Do you think it's appropriate for the board to make a decision in private without anyone knowing?
I think I can think it in two different ways. Like I think it's always better like you make decision open to all. But I think if USU want to do that, like they can still announce the result and give a certain period let the public to react to it. So like if they think like there's some certain issues about like their privacy or some like confidential things about USU want to release to public, I think like the in-camera things might be one of their concern. But like for other things like for some general issues or common issues, they should like just let the public know what's going on, let the student media in. That's what we're thinking about. Like but all of this after the results going out, they should give some time let the public react to it. Like maybe they can revise the decision as well.
Are you aware of the union board's informal process? Like they have pre-board meeting committees, an email, etc. There are ways to make decisions without making them like being publicly available. Do you believe this distracts from the board transparency?
Yeah, I kind of have a concern for that as well because like mostly people don't know how decision is made, and that's why I think there's going to be some misunderstanding between students and the board. So I think that's kind of the one of question or like the challenge for USU going to solve in the future period.
Yeah. Communicating openly and regularly with USU member is a core goal of the USU. 2017 to 2020 strategic plan, and it was recently furthered by the introduction of the USU WeChat platform in 2017. What efforts would you take to improve this dialogue and transparency of the USU board process and decision making?
In the WeChat platform? Yeah, because I think like in WeChat, like a lot of Chinese students actually find it really useful platform to know some information about USU, and I'm really happy USU actually opened a special platform for all the Chinese students to engage the university life. I think for some policies, things like that, because I know WeChat has a function you can make the poll. So like people can actually vote for something, or like you can actually have a more interactive aspect with the audience. So I think that's one of the I suggesting for you to do that for a certain period.
Okay, cool. And you are the international student from China. So in your campaigning, are you planning on using WeChat?
Yeah, I think going to do that as well. Yeah.
Like what social media platforms I'm gonna use?
I think I'm going to mainly focus on Facebook and WeChat.
Okay, let's talk about one of the first things that board directors have to do after they're elected, if you're elected. Which is participate in the USU's executive elections in June. So if you're elected, how will you approach deciding who to vote for USU president in the upcoming election?
Because now currently I only have a very roughly maybe understanding of like who are the people are. I didn't get a chance to get to know them a lot. So I was thinking like after I get elected, I will make a chance to meet them more and know what they're actually doing, what's their position, and like I'll make my decision right after that. Like
sure. Who amongst the current board directors do you already know?
I know Zheng because of he is in the Vans as well. I heard of Zheng because like she's really popular last year in WeChat platform, and I think like I mainly know these two. Yeah.
Would you be more likely to vote for Zheng because both of you come from an advanced background?
Yeah.
You would be more likely to vote for him than another candidate.
I mean like if Zheng, I really like some of Zheng's policy. So if like Zheng remain the same, of course I'm going to vote for him.
Sure. So if he was to run for USU president, you already know him, you would be more likely to vote for him over someone you don't know?
Like at this stage, I would say yes.
Obviously, the USU board position is a big time commitment.
Yeah.
If you're elected, how will you manage your studies on the side? Will you go to part-time? Will you take some time off studies? Can you do that as an international student even?
I don't think like I can do part-time as an international student, but like I think it's really it won't be really hard for me to balance study and the board director work, because I actually have some work on university like that. I've already kind of managed to do that, so I don't think it's a big problem for me. Yeah.
Carrie, do you want to talk about?
Yeah, international student issues. So since Yinfeng was elected as a board director in 2016, campus have seen a rise in international student-backed campaigns.
Yeah.
For example, they have already started WeChat official account in 2017, and it's still existing. How will you tailor your policies to consider the voice of the international student? Like, what's your policies for international student?
I think one of the aspects I want to provide both things for international students and domestic students. So like I don't have a very certain policy for international students, like because I'm actually aiming for all. But if you think for international students, like mainly for Chinese students, I work going to get the WeChat Pay and Alipay to a larger scale, because I know it's not all the universities so can now still using the WeChat and Alipay, and I want to reduce the minimum charge of the card payments. Now you have to pay at least $10 for that. I want to reduce that as well. But just trying to engage all the students, I want to provide like benefits, like the graduate benefits and like some communication. I want to build a platform for food ordering and food review, so we can actually change the restaurants, like revise the menu on campus, and I also like provide some culture and fast-food related food in USU cafes. I think that's one of the main part I can aim for the international students, because students can now have like turkeys for Thanksgiving on campus, and they can have mooncakes on campus as well. So they can buy some food from home, like also related to some culture and fast foods like on campus, to find themselves a sense of belonging.
So for this year's polling, like in 2018,
we'll
not have a booth at International Student Lounge. Do you think this will have a impact on your prospect?
This year not going to be having ISL?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I heard it's going to be in ISL.
No, if you refer to your candidate handbook, it tells you where the polling booths are. Yeah. And there is no booth at International Student Lounge.
Because I just saw the event page, they still write the ISO on, so I'm not sure about this one.
we can move on now.
Yeah, sorry.
So next we'll move on to satellite campus. The USU have been called out for focusing the overwhelming number its events main campus in the past, despite students on satellite campus also paid the South. In 2018, the Kong campus went through more than 5 months without an on-campus food outlet. How should the USU practically engage satellite campus?
So you mean like the other campuses, right? So that's also part of my policy, because I want to cover all the USU access membership on all campuses, because I currently study at SCA as well, like the Senior College of Arts, and I have been studying there for 3 semesters already. So they have a cafe there as well, but they don't cover USU membership there. So like a lot of students there, they actually pay for membership, but they don't have discount. So that's what I think we should at least cover USU membership discount on all campuses, like provide them some benefits.
Okay, just to return to the previous point,
Yeah.
this is from the candidate handbook.
Yeah.
You see in the table that it outlines the 2019 voting booths. None of those booths say International Student Lounge. So to our understanding, ISL will not have a polling booth this year. Do you think that affects your voting numbers? Do you think that affects your base?
I mean, like, if from like this handbook, like if ISU is not part of it, it kind of will like affect my voting. Like, yeah, to be honest, because a lot of friends, they always gather in ISL. Like, I have a friend with Wasabi Society, the Shimi Society. So like we always hang out lots in ISL. So like it probably will like affect some to my voting. But like I mean, we might need to double check with that because the event page post they have ISL and many as a pre-polling. Yeah.
Oh, but as in they will ISL will be available for pre-poll.
Oh,
it won't be
yeah,
available
right.
for the large scale of the rest of the 2 voting days.
Yeah.
So given that those 2 voting days are when most of the votes are going to happen, do
Yeah.
you think it will affect it? You've told us you think it will affect.
Yeah, somehow affect. Yeah.
So asking something about SAF.
Yeah.
Do you support the current SAF system as an iteration of compulsory student unionism?
Yeah, I think one of the issue with SAF a lot of them are concerned about is we don't know actually how the money goes. So like I think we should at least release like a statement or report every year to let students know how the money go. And also I think like you should let the student know what I'm paying for, like what my money go like. So that's why we should at least know, because I'm actually like have a lot of friends like complain about this, like what's happening with stuff, why I need to compulsory pay this $100 more dollars. So personally I was thinking if we can get like explanation or like better understanding where our money go, it should be acceptable. But if not, like we should have to do with this.
This very newspaper every year explains where the SAF money is going.
Yeah.
So if students are interested in where the money
you
is
might
going,
pay more attention to
you
that.
might want to pay more attention.
Yeah.
Every year those figures are released publicly.
Yeah.
So we know, for instance, that last year the student organisation which received the most money was Sydney University Sport and Fitness.
Yeah.
Second was the University of Sydney Union, and near the bottom was the SRC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you believe the allocation of SAF amongst student organizations over the last few years
Sorry?
has been
What organization?
student organizations
Yeah.
over the last few years has been equitable?
Sorry? Can you repeat again?
So do you believe the allocation of SAF amongst student organizations over the last few years has been equitable?
It's really hard for me to say about this question because I don't actually know like what's all the parties negotiation with all these issues. So like, and as I said before, because I didn't get a lot of information about like how they actually distribute, so I might need to search more and know more about this issue and give a right answer.
If the USU finances were in serious difficulty, would you advocate for a reduced stipend for board directors or the reduced daily food and drink stipend?
Yeah, I would love to like do that. Yeah, because I think like the priority for us, we should at least support all the clubs and societies as part of our student life. So I would support like for that to reduce some from the staff or the board director.
I'm gonna ask questions about do you believe the USU should place KPIs or more strictly overseas on the quality and quantity of articles published by the USU's online news outlet POP?
Sorry?
Do you know POP?
Yeah, I know POP, yeah.
Yeah, like do you think the USU should place KPIs or like more strictly oversees the quality and the quantity of the articles published by?
So do you think like they should pay more attention to the quality of their POP? Is where
like control it?
So I think like pop and youth are kind of like separate, but they still have some connection between each other. I think that's why, because I think pop is one of the publication of USU. So I think like USU can kind of like set the main direction for pop, but like it can develop itself at what SRC and Hornies were doing. That's what I think.
What do you think could be improved about pop media?
Because I think they set it very new for the new website back to the semester to 2018. So it's only like it's their second semester now. So I think they still need to like get more awareness of the students, because there's not a lot of people actually knowing that. Even for their Facebook or like their Instagram account, not a lot of people actually following that about what they actually writing. And also they have a really fantastic program that I mentioned before, like Humans of Usage. But like a lot of people don't actually know the program. Like they don't actually like put forward like this program a lot. So that's why I was thinking if they can get more awareness among students, they expose themselves more to students, would be so much better.
Sure. Are you aware of the USU's current affirmative action policies for people who aren't cisgendered men?
Sorry, I'm not. I actually have no idea about what's that. Sorry.
Do you know what affirmative action is?
Pardon?
Do you know what affirmative action is?
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So we'll ask you a few questions about case studies. So these are historical things that have happened to the union. We're going to ask you how you would have responded if the situation happened today. So in 2012, then Vice President of the USU, a guy called Tom Rowie, he leaked a confidential USU document to this newspaper. That document showed that the university had collaborated with the police to suppress student strike on campus. If you were elected as a board director and discovered information that was adverse, that was bad for student interests, would you break your fiduciary duties to the USU? Would you publicly leak to student media information that was bad for students?
I mean, for me, I think like ethics is also one of the priority for as a role. So like I think as a vice president, it's an obligation. You have to keep some confidential things like within the organization. So if it's me, I'm not going to leak that information like to outside the organization. But I will try to do something else. I can try to help these issues in a proper way.
So you don't think that in a case where you as a board director find confidential information that is very bad for students, you don't think students deserve to know that information?
I think students deserve to know that, but as a role of the board director for the organization, you have to keep your responsibilities to the organization.
You don't think it's in your role to provide that information even when it's detrimental, even when it's bad to students?
It depends on degree. So it's like very, very bad. Of course, we have to relate to students, but it's somehow like naturally or like it's not that bad. So I might keep my role within the organization. Can
you give me an example of a very, very bad bit of information that you would publicly leak if you came to know about it?
So if like some USU actually use the money from student, or like a large amount of money from student to do actually something doesn't really good to students, I think that's some issue I would be related to students.
Okay.
Panda Aligned Board Director Zheng has been absent from a number of USU board meetings this year. How would you approach relationship with board directors who are like repeatedly absent from meetings?
Oh, so like they're not showing up in a meeting? That's why we have like social media. So like I think like stuff from social media is a good way to trying to approach to people, like get to know each other, and like maybe like just have a chat like So is he not in the country or not?
He's just busy about like his business or something.
Yeah, so like if that's me, I would say I'm just a new board director on the board. So I was thinking like if we can catch up for coffee, like something like that. If like he's too busy for that, like I don't think I have like control for that, like to meet him. But I will try my very best to know everyone on the board.
Okay.
So that question was about, so when someone is absent from the meeting, they send in apologies. Those apologies can be accepted or rejected by the board members. If you reject the apologies a number of times and the Henjie or board director continues to be absent, they can be censured by the board, which allows them to ultimately be removed from the board. Would you have, in this situation, voted to accept Henjie's apologies or reject his apologies?
It depends on the reason. Do you know what's the reason he's absent?
So he was absent from the meetings because he was attending a meeting for his air conditioning company.
Oh, like, if that's the reason, I would say reject.
Okay. We're going to keep talking about these historical examples for you. So this year, the USU has agreed to collaborate with the university on the university's campaign to crack down on contract cheating. The university in the past have made comments indicating that international students are disproportionately students who are engaging essay writers and essay help providers. Do you think the USU should work with the university on a goal like that?
Yeah, I think definitely we should work on that, because I think some during the WorldCom week, there's some stories that those companies help students to do contract cheatings. Like you should actually shoulder some responsibilities for that. So at least we should not get those companies involved in our WorldCom week and get into very commercialized way for students.
Sure.
So in 2018, Sydney Uni Liberal Club hosted Benita Is There a Rape Crisis on Campuses talk at the same uni. That talk was protested by the Women's Collective. And the altercations broke out between the attendees and protesters. The university charged the Liberal Club $320 for a full security present at the event. What is your position on USU Club bearing the cost of security for events involving controversial speakers?
Yeah, I think we do have the rules like a regulation for club going to hold events listed like in certain of food safety and everything like that. So I think like it's mainly the responsibility for the society, because you usually have no control like how you're going to provide the food, but like they can. So if certain issue happens, I think the main responsibility goes to the society. But USU actually, of course, the society is part of USU, so USU have partially the responsibility. You should at least let all society know food safety is very important in all events.
So you think the clubs should pay for them?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just ask a few questions about your policies.
But
before we do, we've heard that current Advanced Board Director Zheng shoulder tapped you, asked you to run for USU Board, and also refused to support Irene Ma, someone who's also been affiliated with Advance. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think that's true, because like I don't think like Zheng rejected Irene. I don't know how this information comes from. So I don't think.
But what about the first part of that question? Did Zheng ask you to run for USU Board?
Actually, didn't ask me to run for USU, but Alex asked me, because when the information comes on Facebook, because my friends would tag me on the Facebook things, and like Alex saw it, like when we like met each other in the courtyard, I was having a lunch with my friends. Alex just mentioned, Benny, are you thinking of like going for a board? You should do it, because he knows I know a lot of friends back in my building, so like he's one of the people that actually motivated me to have a try.
Okay, so he was one of the people who asked you to run?
Like to motivate me, like why not have a try, like that.
Sure. Okay.
So the senior members of Advance, including Alex, Zheng, and Abby, have joined the Labour Party this year. Do you also plan to join Labour Party?
I'm not planning to, because like as I say, because I actually like just looking for something like for more student experiences. I'm not want to get involved in a lot for student politics. So
Also, you as a former Advance campaigner, what do you see the future of Advance?
I think I like the idea of advanced actually stand for all the international students because we have a slogan for internationalism. So that's what I actually campaigning for advanced, and we do have like very close friendship with everyone in the campaign team. But I'm not sure about like advanced going to be involved more in like future like SRC campaign or USU campaign or not. So because I'm not in the very core team like as you mentioned for the senior members, so I'm not actually who decided the direction of the whole advance.
Sure. One of the policies you've promised is you want to expand on access benefits off campus.
Yeah.
There are already off-campus benefits, as you probably know, for optometrists, event cinemas, food cafes, outlets, bookshops. What are some companies you would accept a partnership with? And what's the business case for those partnerships, given the USU frequently struggles to actually partner with large companies? It's USU Under Armour range of clothing in the shop. We've struggled a lot this year, and other larger sports brands like Nike and Adidas don't see any benefit to being on campus. So how would you sell the partnership to these off-campus companies?
So one of the points I don't think USU is actually expanding the like partnership with a lot of companies, because as a very small aspect, I used to do the laundry like for my suits outside campus. Actually a laundry shop next to my accommodation, but they start to stop the deal with USU, and it happens to a lot of other shops as well, like the hairdressers, a lot of places. Of course, we used to have a very full list, like all life aspects you can do with USU membership. So that's also one of the aspects I want to promote, give like better life. You can actually enjoy more access discounts like around campus, like for your life. So back to the point you mentioned, how I'm going to like market the USU to other big companies. I would think I would say like the first very things, we have a very large population of the students on campus, and we now offer free membership to everyone, which means all the students are part of a USU. So like I would say if the company want to get like awareness, the company want to like grab the public some attention about their new product of like their new like company concept, and they want to get more customer for their brand. I think it's a really good idea to work with USU. And also we're the largest and oldest student organization union in Australia, which is also we have some brand equity as well as for USU, as for the company as well. So I think it will be a really good chance if we can partnership with some big company. But as you mentioned before, we have some issue with Under Armour like nowadays. So we have to be aware in the certain issues, like how we can protect ourselves as the USU itself.
Sure. As a quick follow-up to that question, the USU obviously plays a bit of a bridging role. It connects students to corporations, to off-campus organizations frequently. The best example of that is during Welcome Week. But do you think, as part of the USU's partnership with off-campus outlets, that it should only partner with ethical outlets, or do you think it's okay for the USU to partner with anyone that is profitable for the USU? Could it partner with 7-Eleven? Could it partner with McDonald's? Do you think there is some ethical requirement for the company?
As long as like the company is doing something good, like it can provide students some benefits, I think we can like work with them. But like for certain issues, like they're like if they're doing something environmentally not friendly, so like they're using a lot of plastics, like for certain issue like that, I think USU has a moral system. We have to not to work with them. Okay,
but obviously 7-Eleven is a very good convenience store. It provides a lot of relatively cheap food and drink items that would be convenient to have on campus. Would you, in a hypothetical case, approach 7-Eleven to partner with 7-Eleven?
I would love to approach 7-Eleven if we can actually bring them on campus.
Okay, sure.
So in your policy, you talk about the USU restaurant and coffee review system. Why is it the USU's responsibilities to create a review system when students can just go to Google reviews, like UC Rents, Rotten Tomatoes, for example?
Because I think USU have the control to sign a contract with other restaurants and cafes on campus. So like USU also had the right to change or ask the restaurant to do some improvements like to work on their restaurant, their menu, or their service, their products, their their equality of regards their food and everything. So it's like, but for Google they cannot do that. Like for Google review they cannot do that. Even like a lot of people doing that on user rents. Using that user rents had nothing control about what we're talking what USU can do, because USU is more like you're part of the organization to rent out a place to the restaurants, right? So I think I'll raise the example about what happening on the user rents in regard to the bubble tea shop. So a lot of people actually don't like the bubble tea shop. So like in certain things, if the restaurant get really bad negative reviews, so some improvement should at least happen, and further the replacement or some we should change the restaurant, something like certain action we should be made for students, because I think students actually pay for the use discount. Partially a lot of students want to have food on campus. So that's why they actually pay for the USU membership. So it's part of their right to know I can at least choose or review the restaurants on campus.
Sure. In your policies, you also mentioned you want to provide a 30% discount for graduates.
Yeah.
Is this just for the usage store upstairs in JFL Plaza, or will all graduates be eligible for any shop for any USU?
I think it's mainly for the souvenir store. It may be some restaurants, and that's for a certain period. Maybe during the week they graduate, so their parents or their family members, their friends are coming. So I think it can also boost the sales of USU in a certain way, because when you graduate, you want to buy lots of souvenirs and going to rent your graduate suits in the stores as well. So if we can have this certain big maybe a more surprising discount for graduates, I think that would be a really good idea.
Sure.
Okay. So you say in your policy that you want more festival and cultural related food provided in USU cafes. How are your policies different from the USU international festivals and the Asian food already available on campus, like AES Terrace, Taste, Little Asia, Sushi Time?
Yeah, I think currently we do have culture related food. We have different food from different culture background, but we don't have festival related. That's what my policy about, because we don't have mooncakes, we don't have turkeys. It's more seasonal things. So currently we have a range. We have a lot of ranges, and also for international festival, it's only for those 3 days, but we don't go through the whole year. So that's what I was suggesting for. If we can find the students a sense of belonging to university, to day-to-day life, I think will be so much beneficial and so much better.
Sure. We're just about to wrap up now, but maybe before we finish, if you could tell us how you're feeling about the election, what you're looking forward to over the next 2 weeks, whether you're scared of anything, fearful for anything, nervous, or what are you excited for?
Yeah, actually it's my very first time to get into this level of student election. So I'm actually in the process of learning everything because I never get into this stage before. So I actually just think this election as one of my experience in university. So I don't looking for a lot either success or failure. I'm okay with all of this. I'm really happy a lot of people actually were willing to help me. I think I do have friends. so I'm actually very chill about this, but and on the other point, I'm a bit afraid of because we know before we have a lot of dramas in the past few years. There's also something I'm really afraid of. But I think in this year people are really nice to each other. Some of the candidates were really good friends with each other. So I hope everyone will do well in the campaign.
Okay, great. Thanks, Benny.
Thank you.